You know what that is? Discipline. Selfish.
No joke. We're legitimate.
Let's fucking do this. Then do it. Do it 100%, because I'm trying to.
We recognize that we are limitless.
You got to be a champion to become a champion, right? Winning is a habit because we create habits that lead to good execution and success.
No, I'm serious. It looks like I'm wearing a toupee. Hey, good evening, everyone. Right.
That's a fun way to start the show. Let's go. Tonight's going to be a good one already.
Too long, brother. Yeah, I got to. Anyway, Ryan, I hope you had a good weekend. I hope all of the audience had an amazing weekend. We want to apologize for the last 2 weeks. Lots of adulting going on. Hey, it happens, but we both wanted to give our sincerest thanks for your patience and understanding. But enough about that. Tonight, we have a good one for you. Let me just give you a little backlog of this guy. He made his professional player debut in 2010 with the Los Angeles Ironmen. In 2012, he opted out for the red for the blue. He went to San Diego Dynasty until 2017, when he would return to the Shield for the next 3 years. In 2020, this man would move on to play with Edmonton Impact. Quick stop off with the Latin Saints before returning to the Dragon in 2022. In 23, he would play with AC Diesel until last year, where he would hop on and play with Arsenal, only to return to San Diego Dynasty this year. He's played under legendary coaches. See, this is the point, right? He's played under legendary coaches such as Kevin Brettauer, Rusty Glaze, Todd Martinez, Dave Baines, the late Greg Pauly, rest in peace, my friend, and the man on the screen with me, Ryan Gray. He's become quite the accomplished coach in his own right, just recently winning this past weekend's WCCPL West Coast Classic, not coaching one, but two teams. The TJ Bastards won the Premier Division, and his D4 team, Lords, won their division. Tonight, we'll talk to none other than Kyle Spicka. Hopefully his Wi-Fi works, because he just texted us saying that his Wi-Fi had to restart it. We're going to pick his brain about transitioning from pro player to pro coach, as well as all the challenges and lessons he's learned along the way, plus a whole lot more. So click that like button, give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Hop in on the chat and join us for episode 116 of The Coaches Show. The Coaches Show is brought to you by our awesome sponsors, Max Sportswear. Charles at Max Sportswear has what your team and pit crew need. Matter of fact, check out, we didn't plan this. We got on camera, we were both wearing the same shirt because these were made by Max Sportswear. All sorts of soft good options you can check out, from jerseys to pants, gloves, and even packs. They'll work with you and your team to get you what you need. So get maxed. You won't be disappointed. Great news. Our guest has appeared. All right, BKI, the best knowledge in paintball. Sign up at bkipaintball.com and start learning from the pros instantaneously. Your own mini clinic right there, the computer screen of your phone, right there in the pleasure of your own home. Go to bkipaintball.com. Sign up today. Don't forget to support Team USA. We probably need to get a link about that up here soon. They're going to be heading off. Got some great teams. Can't wait to get in some of those boys on the show and talk to them. And Virtue. Virtue specializes in premium quality paintball gear designed and used by the pros. Their products range from goggles, loaders, packs, and a lot more. Head on over to virtuepb.com and check out their products. Just last week, they ran an insane deal on control loaders. It may still be going. As a matter of fact, I believe it is. Build your own control loader for just $100. That's crazy. Check out bunkerkings.com for the details. All righty. I'm glad it looks like his Wi-Fi is up and rolling. I can't wait to talk to him, especially about Tiger Wear, because I have this idea that we kind of touched on in Tampa about Tiger Wear and the cats, but we'll get to that. I don't want to put him on the spot or nothing.
It's a marriage made, right? That is the easiest marriage ever.
I agree. Well, let's bring the man in. Let's get him started.
Hang on really quick before we get him in. Like, we've been trying to get Kyle on the show for quite some time, right? Like, first of all, I had an opportunity to really get to know Kyle with my time with AC Diesel and really get an opportunity to see how his mind works some and how he views paintball and looks at a paintball field and all the different channels and the way that they can be utilized. And one of the biggest takeaways I got from Kyle was how his mind works in this really creative way, right? Where it's not thinking about the field in these really linear manners, but more in different ways where where a player can flow through the field in kind of unexpected ways, right? Like where the typical team's going to look at a layout and say, yeah, our setup is going to be this, or it's going to be this, right? Mm-hmm. And the way Kyle's mind works is he's looking at the field, and I used to call it really philosophical, right? Which is kind of what I think it is. It's in this sort of creative way that pathways can be created, right? By using these different channels in different ways that are somewhat unexpected. So really excited to see kind of the start of his kind of journey in the professional league as a coach in whatever manner it is. And we kind of know right now that's going back and forth between him putting a jersey on as a player and him holding the clipboard as a player or as a coach. So we'll kind of dig into some of that as well and see what that's going to look like in Cincinnati for Dynasty. But first, we'll kind of dig into his story a little bit, talk about his path from player to coach and why that's happened and sort of the motivations behind that. And then also some of the lessons that he's learned coaching divisional teams. So it's going to be a big show, man. I'm excited about it.
There is a lot to dig in here on this one. I'm looking forward to bringing him a little anecdotal. I remember sitting down with Kyle for the first time where he and I had a really great conversation. Shout out to LAX because that's where we did it back when I was coaching the Hurricanes and he was playing with AC Diesel. And we had this tremendous conversation over dinner. Speaking of dinner, I mean, it was an incredible because our boy over there cooks an amazing, gets that grill in front of him. It's off to the races. But talking to Kyle was so fascinating to me. And this isn't blowing sunshine up his butt. I just want him to understand that it really is fascinating to see the questions he asks and the way he answers them, right? Mm-hmm. Philosophical is such a great word to use in describing because he puts a lot of thought into it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the key. And I think that's a great sign of success for anybody getting into the coaching world, right? Really thinking about it and understanding it. So,
yeah, totally. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, man. Oh, look at that. There he is.
Welcome.
What's up?
What's up, pal? How are you?
Good.
I love it. I like your hat. I'd like to talk to you about that.
I'm late. But it's consistent. Ryan knows.
It's true. He's always on California time.
There it is. There it is. No, I understand that. California time for sure.
Always on California time. And let's jump right in. Let's not waste a bunch of time.
Right.
Because we got a lot to talk about tonight. So
yeah, let's get it.
One of the things kind of we didn't really bring up that we'll dig into is paintballpicks.com.
Yep.
But let's kind of start off like we all kind of know your playing journey a little bit. You can touch on that if you want as it relates to how it kind of gotten you to where you are now and really into this kind of precipice of potentially putting away the playing part of your career and moving into more of the coaching side. So give us that backstory a little bit.
So as far as like the kind of like the shift over to that.
Yeah. Like what led you down this path?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think at a early, it's iteration. It's probably just from first being so close to Ryan and watching him teach clinics and, I could use a little bit of extra money back as a kid. And then, so he would kind of show me the ropes of teaching and then in combo playing in Europe and then having to kind of go from just like a front snake player to everyone's looking to me for answers. So I kind of had to figure things out quickly. And then I guess, fast forward teaching, start coaching teams on a more consistent basis. I mean, like the TJ Bastards have been coaching, God, I think it's got to be six years now. But I think that if we fast forward a little bit, I think that when that time with Diesel, we were struggling so much that like I just wanted us to win. Whoever I'm with, that's all I care about. Whatever's in the way, I'll try to get it done. Whether I'm playing, filling pods, running pods, coaching, I just want to figure out a way to win. And I felt like, we were struggling a little bit with guidance, and I felt like we needed some more of those pieces, which kind of like faded me into that role. And then I started really liking it. Obviously makes money from it, but I would, obviously I'm not going to do it for free, but I feel like I would do it for free. It's so fulfilling to me. I get a lot from it, having an effect on the whole game rather than just like my one piece.
Yeah. There it is.
And not just at one point, but every, looking at a whole match, and then a whole tournament, and then the whole year versus like playing. And I still love it. I think one big piece is like, I want someone like me to coach me, like as far as like layers in the match, or in the point, and kind of going through everything and seeing, is super methodical, like laid out understanding of the game. And so I don't know. I don't think I'm completely done with playing either. I think I'm gonna, maybe this is like a little bit in between to see which path is the right one.
Yeah.
I like that statement you made where you said, I would like someone like me to coach me.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a fascinating comment, because it tells me that you knew what you needed when you were coming up and you were learning. And so you're trying to fill that role for a lot of different people. Totally. And I remember seeing that click with you at AC Diesel, when that point you were talking about, hey, we were just looking for, and you were so fascinated by it. and you were asking such excellent questions on how to adapt, how to do this. What would you look for here? And there were such good questions. And I remember telling Ryan, I was like, Kyle's going to be an incredible coach someday. I didn't know you were already coaching. Say again?
When was this too? We were talking about
this would have been at LAX when you were with AC Diesel and scrimmaging the Canes.
Okay.
You guys came out for a layout practice, and you and I were eating. We were eating over some awesome brisket.
It was the first event.
Yeah. And just going through the thought process of how the field might play out, or what it might turn into, or
right. That's the exact discussion, right? And that's when Ryan said what he said, it clicked with me. I was like, it made me think about that, because you started talking about, Ryan and I always talk about access points on a field. I think you take the access, concept to a whole nother level, which is what's so impressive. I love the way you look at it. So, and I want to get into that. I don't want to get us too far off topic. But I do want to get into your process on that a little bit as well.
I'd love to.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. So you guys just came off a huge weekend at the WCPPL. Teams did really, really well. TJ Bastards and Lords both win. Like, what is more satisfying for you right now, winning as a player or watching your teams execute as a coach?
So I guess I have my answer, because it's probably winning as a coach. Because I feel like it takes, obviously there's some ego involved in everything, but I feel like I'm not trying to get on the field. I'm not playing. So, what I have to say is not in regards remotely to like me trying to get play time, or, I think I can do this role. It's more of like, I'm trying to give you guys everything, the best like possible tools so that we have success. And it's weird. It's like, I feel like I'm on the field when I'm coaching, like in that flow state, like coaching. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're like, I think one that you guys probably understand a lot is like, when you plan with like two people to shoot an interior guy, like an interior position, and that guy comes off the field, and you're like, You feel like you did it, you know?
Yeah. We call those coach kills. That's a coach kill.
We call it a coach kill 100%. That's my assist, kill. Right?
Yeah. And it's like, too, I use this example a lot. I use this example a lot. I was like, man, I feel like, I could be like one of the best, drummers in the world in an orchestra, but, we don't have like a conductor. Like someone's got to get up there and conduct so it all sounds harmonic,
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Good stuff. Yeah. No, when you said that, when you were pretty quick to say, coaching, and I think right, wrong, or indifferent, I think a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that you have won. You've won as a player at the highest level. So you've been there, done that. Now to see and to know how that felt for you when that happened and to see that happen for others. One of my favorite things as a coach, as you alluded to, is when you see that light bulb go off and the player gets it and the team gets it and they start executing and you start giving them, you start pouring everything you can into them and you see that light bulb and that success and they get it and you start seeing that love and drive in their eyes. Right. And you feel like you've given, like a samurai that pours it into a sword, right? That you put a piece of him into the sword. Sure. And you've done that, right? They've become the weapon,
Sure. No, exactly. I mean, it's crazy too, because I was just single child, single mom. So I was having to like observe a lot and take stuff in without like, a lot of guidance. My mom kind of just let me do whatever I want. And then, so I like grew from a young age, just like constantly, observe and be a sponge to learning. So it's like, I think I have a lot of, all the coaches, Mike, I have a lot of like passion and, as you guys are saying, like philosophical theory that goes into it and trying to get that inner fire lit in the players. And then I'll constantly come back because I don't do as much, but I'm like, I need to be a little stern, like Ryan can be with his players, and then pull like, Skinny Kevin analytics that he taught me, or, all these different, these little pieces, like, Dave Baines is a great example. He like really gets like bonds with the players. I became really, really good friends with Dave on Impact. And then I saw like that was, he kind of would relate a lot through empathy, even if off the field stuff, so that you could trust that person has like the best interest for you. And I think like really that having all of those pieces is the ultimate coach.
Absolutely. Yeah. Agreed. Mm-hmm. We often talk about how you have to be a lawyer, a tactician, a strategist, a priest, right? All these different things for all the players all the time, because they'll see through if you're not genuine. They'll recognize if you're not being legitimate.
For sure.
So I think you're absolutely right. And you've had some tremendous mentors over the years. Yeah. In the introduction, I mentioned some of them, and it's obvious. It's like a who's who of the greatest coaches out there right now. So, So it's good that you're doing that. Again, congratulations to you and TJ Bastards. What a performance. Looking at the scores, it appears they had a solid performance until, the semifinals where you beat Iconic by 1 and Grind City by 1 in the finals. Yeah. The other scores appear to have been in hand.
Yeah.
Man,
it was ugly. It
was. Man, the Lords scores were so dominant. 4 Mercy Rule wins with only one team to seemingly give you a hard time in prelims. Lords scored 31 points with only 6 against. That's insane. So here's a question for you that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in knowing. How often are you working with these teams? How often are you said you've been working with TJ Bastard for 6 years. I don't know how long you've been with Lords, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of how often are you working with these teams? I mean, how often you get out?
I would say on like minimum, and I think I saw AJ, the owner of Lords, in the chat. I'd say it's 2 years with the Lords, obviously 6, 7 with TJ Bastard, but I would say probably two weekends at least a month, and a lot of times it's Saturday with Lords and then Sunday with TJ Bastards, and I'll leave. It's pretty far to go coach the Lords. It's like deep in LA, and down here in San Diego, it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes on the way up, and then with traffic, 4 to 5 on the way home. So I leave it at 5:36, get home at about 8:30, and then drive back the next morning up to Riverside for TJ guys. We usually play at ASG. But yeah, I would say about twice a month, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit too because the owner's son, who's been playing phenomenally this year, actually too, Eric Arietta with Aftermath. He got on Aftermath, so he's not at practice as much. So I think, some of the practices were like after the event, we don't practice for like a month. Have a very lenient policy on that team. Got a lot of the guys had chances to go pro or played pro. And that's not what they're looking for. They're just looking for like really competitive paintball, playing consistently, enjoying the time.
Awesome.
Before I get into this next question, so you're touching them, you get them 1 day or 2 days a month. Do you have a pre-planned agenda that you want to work with them on that day? Or do you come into that day or do you have something already prepped that you want to work on? Or is that kind of, how do you prepare for that?
So it kind of depends. Like with TJ, those guys are pretty developed. So I don't necessarily a lot of times know what like our field layout's going to look like, and so I need to watch a little bit to understand like what would like maximize our time there based on the field layout and maybe tailor it. Then with the Lords, we do a little bit more specific thing. I mean, like, and this is good for the listeners. One thing that I've been doing with Lords, and I've started incorporating a little bit with TJ, is, and you do this like maybe at the end of the day. I think this is probably the best, but it's like a 3 point, like, well, you might just end on 1 point, but if you could get a couple of these, you do regular 5-on-5, but it's like a minute and a half, and it's one team's, it's like 4-3, one team's down, one team's up. Trying to see if that one team can tie it. If they do, then you get the next point or you restart. Then in overtime, just to make it a little more interesting, also a minute and a half. And then if it goes, if that time runs out and nobody scores, that's when you play the one-on-one to actually simulate the pressure of the one-on-one.
Yeah.
Versus just playing one-on-ones,
you get the whole end of the game. Love it.
Yeah. And so I'm like, should we just play one-on-ones anyways? And I'm like, no, the pressure is not as. You guys can do some one-on-ones, but like that's just for fun.
It's not the same. Sure. Yeah.
Like everyone's always like, who would you call in the one-on-ones? It's like, well, you have to look at everyone's eyes and see who wants the one-on-one. Otherwise, like, it could be different. You probably have your top 3, but I remember one.
Yeah, for us, it's one of 2 guys. It's one of 2 guys. Yeah. It's either purple or gray beanie.
I was going to say that's an easy one to figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that, so simulating a lot of, and I try to do that too. The word carries usually like more negative connotation, but I try to help them manipulate their own minds in a good way. So I'll be like, this overtime point, you have to get to this really pivotal spot. Like, just imagine you get $1 million if you make it.
Sure.
If you like put that in your mind and just make it seem real in your mind and see if that helps. Like, I told.
Can we back up for a second? You said something about manipulate and that being a bad thing. The entire role of a coach is to manipulate your players to do better than they believe that they can.
Yeah.
So the whole point of a coach is to from a teaching perspective, is manipulation. You're manipulating them the whole way to get them to do things that before they didn't think they could do, or they didn't think they could do it as well. The whole
your role is to show them that they can.
Yeah, there's no negative connotation of manipulation at all.
Yeah.
But I understand why you prefaced it that because manipulation does have a negative connotation to it.
Manipulating on my guys.
Well played. So I like that setup though, right? Creating that pressure That's fantastic, right? And what you're basically when you're putting those thoughts into their mind, you're teaching them to self-talk, right?
Yes.
You're and that's a physiological and psychological aspect. There are scientific studies out there where self-talk quite literally changes your physiology and changes your cortisol and all these different things. So smart, man. That's smart.
Yeah. I remembered even too, like you guys probably also know this really well, like the floating aspect of the game and that blind zone, right off the box. It's pretty difficult. If you have a guy that's ultra elite at that, like I was watching Jacob at the last tournament, like go almost all the way to the Snake Aztec and then come like almost all the way back to the back center to put paint back on the back center. And then finally came back into that Aztec. Like a lot of people are, even in pro, are not comfortable with doing that.
Right.
And I'm pretty adamant about teaching that. And I love when I have guys that are comfortable with doing that. But one of the guys too, it was like in the semifinals is when I was like kind of asking him, like, dude, just don't move, don't go, just pull up your end, put it right back on the edge of the back center and just walk. And I'm like showing them this pole out, and we're outside in the pit. I'm like, just this slow. Just imagine you have to shoot this pole as you're walking. He won't be able to, he can't come out. And then he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, just dude, you got it. And if you get shot, like, so be it. You're fine. And then he did it and shot the guy, and came in like eyes lit up. So that's always a good feeling.
100%.
It's like it's locked in then.
Yeah.
No. You know,
confidence goes to a new level.
Yeah, 100%. And now that player, not only what's interesting there, and he probably already had it already because he did it like you asked him, but now he has even more trust in you.
Yeah.
Right? And when you build that trust, it's so important to have the trust between a player and the coach. That's sacred.
Yeah. Of course.
Which brings me to my question, another question about it. You get them for a couple of days. I'm pretty sure the WCCPL is a blind layout format. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I was going to talk about that too. Go ahead.
Perfect. It rolls in it. So how often? So again, how often you've told me how often you're working with them prior to the event. Do you have a specific process or any insight you can share with our audience on how you prepare for the blind layout, or what's your process once you get there and you see the layout?
So a couple of things here. One, I really don't like blind layouts, but I think they're good for my sanity because I'm a perfectionist. And so I will
sit with it.
That I'm sure the guys on Dynasty are like, dude, what the hell? Like I have just like data and I have like AI stuff and like just like 200 points. Like, look, this is the solution. But so when we get there, and two, it's like, I don't know why I've never been able, it's not easy for me to do, or maybe you guys are, but like when you're looking at the field from the digital map, like the top down, or even the angles, like, I don't really like, it's hard for me to picture like how it's going to play. It's always been like that for me. And I've tried guns up. If I do it on guns up, that is a little bit more helpful, but definitely when looking at it like that, I don't really gather too much from it. So first off, like one, I don't think you should try to make any assumptions when you're looking at, the layout from top down. Maybe definitely get on guns up if you can't be at the field. But I typically just, and I think we talked about this before, but looking, from the back center out both ways and constantly coming back and then go like retracing and then trying to just imagine where those five guys are. What's the safest spots? Actually, here's a great one. That I always try to find minimum like 2 spots on the field, and sometimes that's not even existing, especially like on the NXL layouts. Jason's doing a good job of making them incredibly intricate, but 2 spots that can see, at worst case scenario, especially at the start of these blind layout matches, bunkers that are safe to get to that can look inside and it can cut the middle off and have at least bare minimum vision of someone like entering the snake. And then that dangerous area, maybe like whether it's the start of the Doritos or like around Dorito 2 area when it gets to the tape. Because I feel like you have a good amount of the field covered with two guys seeing both entry points into the middle and then the snake and the Dorito. So I always I'll start like that. So my other guys can have some freedom. And then stuff doesn't get out of control by like everyone playing straight ahead, trying to do their own thing. And then kind of develop it from there. But when we were walking the field, so it goes Thursday, and then Premier and D3 play Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday, Sunday is like D4, D5, and all the other like 3-man stuff like that. But so Thursday, we got up there and we're walking the field. It's getting kind of dark, sun's setting. And Hector, the owner, he's like, let's get out of here. You guys have been out here for an hour. And also AJ and one of his players too that was on the winning team, Chavez, he was with there. He's like, can I kind of follow you around and listen while you're walking the field? And I was like, sure. I might not be saying a lot though, but you know, I don't care. And we're walking there, and Hector's like, we gotta go. You guys have been here for an hour. And I was like, hold on, like we don't have it all yet. And on this field, I don't know if you guys watch much of the layout, but the Dorito 3, if you got to the Dorito 3 off the break, which is obviously risky, it was like if the other team didn't go to the wire, the chances of winning were like 70-80%.
Yeah.
With 5-on-5, because the guy would just go all the way into the other team's side and then be in a starfish on their side where he has over the top or both sides.
He's in a fortress.
That guy would shoot 4 or 5 bodies if he went in there and the other team had 5 up. And so I'm like, then I'm looking at it from my like playing side back at the back center, and I'm like, I wouldn't be confident in shooting this guy every time. So I was like, let's do it. And that was kind of, I figured it out. I told AJ that, and we actually have 3 teams. We have 2 D4s and a D5. And so I'm kind of jumping back and forth with the D4s, and AJ handles the D5. If I have time or they get knocked out, I'll go help him with the D5. But we kind of use that across the board from TJ through all the Lords divisions. Obviously manage it. Sometimes we didn't even run at all. Like if I use it a match before, you guys are like this. The last prelim game for TJ, we'd already made it. And I was like, I want to test something out. So just bear with me. It might get a little chaotic, but I want to go to the 300 every single point, regardless of what happens, just to see what the sample size looked like.
Totally.
How you guys play, Ryan.
We know, like, if we've got 4 points, let's test a few things that we maybe didn't get the right look at in practice.
Yeah.
Which explains that prelim score, honestly.
Yeah, on that last one. So we went, I think we played 9 or 10 points. Besides one, we had a major at the end of the point. I had to start with 3. We didn't do it on that one, but we ran it 7 times and made it 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the benefit too that the Lords get is I'm coaching for like a day and a half before I get to coaching them. So, and then managing, right, and then also figuring out that it's not the back center. It's this one like Dorito Aztec inset that actually has a good shot on it. So when I see a team looking at the data that doesn't go to that spot, I'm like, okay, we can run it as many times as we want. And if then maybe on point 4, if they decide to go there and shoot us, it's okay. We can do 3-1, I guess.
Totally. Yeah.
And so obviously the analytics help out a lot, but I try to get a lot of points in the blind layouts on the first match. Not, if we're blowing a team out and it's about to get mercy rule, exchanging bodies, tell them to play slow so that they can that's like obviously don't want to lose it. It's important, but get a lot of practice in on that first match for longevity of the whole tournament.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that makes a lot of sense that you're able to, it's great. You work with the Premier League there, the Premier teams, and then you're able to transition what has worked and what wasn't working to these other divisional teams. That's That's awesome. That's
and
perfect.
I think that's too why, like, you know, I'm still practicing. I go play night ball a lot. Like I'm playing on my free days. I'm playing on the weekends, play a dynasty practice. It helps me understand, I think, from a coaching standpoint, like this field it looked like a really good snake, super long, but I was like, if we go down the Doritos, it doesn't matter if they get in the snake, because it's going to take 15, 20 seconds for that guy to come down the field.
Yeah.
He has to crawl a lot, and he has guys shooting at him. So I think understanding those, like visualizing how a player would play a certain area of the field or a bunker, like what he would feel uncomfortable doing. Like, you know, I know there's not a lot of people like, Billy Bernacchi and Mouse, Keith, these guys that are going to get in the snake and actually realize what's happening and turn the jets on and go. I think that's a huge benefit while I'm still playing, you know, like it's not possible, you know? So.
No, I think you bring that as a player, right? You bring that perspective to the coaching role, right? Well, I think if I'm here as a player, I probably would be hesitant to do this, but I wouldn't be hesitant to do this if I know the situation. And it's good to hear you say that the first thing you look at is probably the first thing, and something that Ryan and I have talked about in our clinics: visual acuity. What's the visual acuity on the biggest threat, you know, in these areas? How do we get eyes on, and how do we stop it, right? And then how do we take advantage of that? How do we stop them while taking advantage of that sort of thing? Yes.
And being fair and going like the guy, you know, it's funny when you guys probably get this, when the guys are like, we can just go to this bunker. I was like, okay, that means they can just go to this bunker also.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
not like
The other thing I kind of want to build on the things that you're saying, just for our listeners' sake, is the things that Kyle's setting up with understanding, like who can see the entrance to the snake and who can see potentially where the danger is going to be in the Doritos, is he's also starting where his communication tree is going to begin, right? These are going to be the first two guys that are going to talk. They're going to be responsible to know how far did they go on the snake side, how far did they go on the Dorito side, and then our edge guys are going to be responsible for the middle of the field if either one of these guys can't see it, right? There's a lot of things happening in what Kyle said there. It's not just about, you know, hey, these two guys are going to be on the cross. There's a lot of responsibility there. Right. There's a lot of things that are going to build off of just that small foundation. Right. So it's a big deal.
Because it's data, right? And it's data. Yeah. And how do you get that data out to everybody, right? You've got to have the communication tree. So it's not just a matter of seeing it, it's knowing it and knowing what to do with the information once you have it. You know, you'll hear us talk about, as coaches, we'll talk about making the read when we see this, especially box reads or, you know, body, you know, language, et cetera, all these different things. So, but yeah, a lot goes into that. So I've got several more questions, but I've been kind of hogging it. I want to turn a couple of them over to Ryan real quick. So
I just want to ask, you know, obviously there's a big difference between kind of coaching those developmental teams versus coaching a team like Dynasty. What are the things that you're seeing right now that players are getting wrong about their improvement right now? So like, what are these divisional or young players getting wrong about their improvement or development right now?
Oh, I thought this was going to be about what the Dynasty guys.
No. We'll get into them in a second.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
We'll get into them in a minute.
This is more for the audience.
I think it's one, you know, I don't know. I'm pretty fair, and I try to be pretty understanding, and I try to actually adapt to, like, is this like, you know, is this right for you? Do you need to like have this mindset in order for you to play better? Or is this like bad, you know, it's actually hurting you? And one, like I was constantly harping on the TJ, actually both the TJ and more so the Lords guys, is like just having this like unwarranted cockiness of like, we're like the shit. And I'm like, we just like got through the prelims. And last event, the Lords went 12-0 in the prelims, all three teams, and then all kind of got punched in the mouth in the quarters or semis last event, because they're just like, you know, thought they won the tournament already. And I'm like, dude, I don't know where, like, if I'm worried, and I'm like, you guys better be worried. Like,
the prelims are the easy part.
Yeah. And I like to the TJ guys too. I'm like, dude, like here's actually this is a good one. I don't know, like, and I say this a lot to him. I just feel like regardless of the game, regardless of what we're trying to do, we're trying to win paintball. But like as a man, you're going into like a very like primal game with adrenaline and aggression. Like, why do you want to like all the time leading up to it? And that could just be, I'm not even talking about like the months before, but like at the event, you're just like here having fun. You don't want to watch. WCPL has every single field live the whole time. Like I would want to be glued to that, instantly watching the team that we play next to have any possible advantage. Like you get like, this guy's slow, we can shoot this guy off the break, or they're not going to that bunker that's could shoot that 300. Instead, just like kind of having fun, because when you get on the field and you lose and someone punks you and then they shoot you a bunch and it hurts and then talk shit to you as they run by you, like that doesn't feel good, but it's in your control at least. Like so I'm constantly, I guess that's one thing that, you know, some guys do and they get it, and it just seems like kind of like a slow process for the young guys to care. And I understand, because it's, you know, you're not getting a lot out of it as far as like monetary value. But I would say that that's one of the biggest things, or being okay with going through struggle. Like it actually, this will be a good one when we get to Dynasty, that I'll tell you about. Mikey said to me the other day, that was funny when we were like just starting at the year. But yeah, I think that's a big one. I have to put a little bit more thought into that. I mean, there's a lot. The understanding of the situation. This actually happened a lot. I didn't realize it till after the event, but I kept coming back to being like, dude, let's chill out in the pits. It was chaos, like all across the board, not just Premier, who's usually like really level. And I find myself like, guys, shut the hell up. Like, keep it zen in here. Like, it's chaos. But after the event, and I'm reflecting back at how many times I had to like scream in the pits to like, everyone shut up and like stop yelling. I was realizing that when they were on the field and it was getting like low time or close points, they were making really like mental blunders on what the situation was, when it's not even like super difficult, and it's something that they have shown that they're consistently doing correct usually. And I was like, oh, I was feeling that the chaos in the pit was translating onto the field, and so their minds were going in there really chaotic. So obviously then the game starts and your adrenaline just kicks that chaos even higher. Right. Which is like, you know, I think a tribute to Russian Legion's success. Like, those guys are always calm, collected in the pits, like regardless of whatever the situation is, just like worried about what the next point is.
No wasted energy.
Yeah. Like talking about what happened the last point, or like screaming at each other. It even happened to us a little bit at Dover, the Dynasty too, in our quarterfinal match. And I don't know, I'm very observant, as Ryan knows, like philosophical in a way, like maybe a little bit of woo-woo in it, but I think it works. Got to feel like all the energy that's going around on the field, off the field, personalities.
No, I think when I say philosophical, I don't mean it in a negative way at all. Like, I think you're starting to see more and more teams that have multiple coaches, right? And I think it's important that you do have that coach who is a little more philosophical, right? Who doesn't think about things in this really black and white way of like, hey, this is this way because it's this way, right? Well, maybe it doesn't have to be, right? I think it's important to have a coach who's pushing back against that kind of ideology of like, this is the way it is because it's the way we do it, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's another way that would make it a little better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that that's bad at all.
No.
In fact, one of the biggest lessons I think I've taken away from being a part of Red Legion is they don't really have that at all. Like, in fact, I've had to like change roles pretty significantly from my natural state and be like this, hey, how's it going? You good? Like, tell me about what's going on at home. And like, you know, come here, let me give you a hug and pat you on the back of the head. And, you know, hey, you okay? Like, that's the role I've kind of had to take, because the other two coaches, that's just not, that's not them at all. Right. Like, they're just like, you know, okay, you're good, let's go. Right. Like, so I do think it's important. And it's some of that is obviously a testament to my time with AC, and like understanding sort of that chaos and all the different things that were occurring there, and, you know, what was repairable and what wasn't, and being a part of what I am now, and really being able to use that kind of experience as like, okay, this is kind of what's missing here. Right. Like, I can kind of fill this role, but I don't want to glaze over what you said, because I think it's really important. There were two things that you mentioned. One, we talk about the pit all the time in here. Like, that's got to be a place when you come back. It's like going out to battle and then coming home, right? When you're in the pit, that should be a really calm, comfortable, like, home, right? Like, this should feel like your safe space now. You're good in here. You don't have to be all crazy and excited and wound up. Take a deep breath. Yeah. You take a deep breath, you go here first, then you come here second, and then you go to the coach. Right. But then you were talking about, like, and I'll just make it simple, doing the work, right? Like, the things are working well because they have a coach, who's done the work, right? You've already kind of figured out, like, here's what I think, if, you know, the layout's going to play like, this is what we're going to test. We're going to go test it. And if it works, that's not for them to have an ego about. If anything, that's for you to have an ego about, because you set it up, right? Yeah. And then the reason that they continue to find success a lot of times is because you're doing the work. You're watching those games for the next match, seeing what opportunities you may have. What's their box setup look like? Are there easy reads here? They have to do those things. That's another thing we talk about a lot, is especially with things like the WCPPL and the USXBL, you have video. Like, you have video on every field that you can go and watch the next opponent you're going to have. And as a player, knowing the guy in front of you and what their tendencies are and how they're going to go, do they go here and wrap every single time? Do they come in and look the same way? So important.
We don't need, I don't think we have it even in pro, because it has to wait. You can't rewind during the day.
We have to record it ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to record it ourselves. And then, like, I have to figure out ways to, like, blow it up, and it's wild.
Yeah.
I've got to hop in on this, because I actually had this conversation not too long ago with another crew. And it's funny. It's almost like, you know, this is a team that had worked its way up and through the divisions and all these things. And their culture was set a very specific way. And it was almost like, you know, it's like a parent, right? And the kids, you know, for some reason, the kids just wouldn't go to bed, and the mother has to come in there with the yardstick and like a samurai and just start whooping people to get them to go to bed. And then the father comes in and says, I don't understand, children. Why don't you just go to bed when mom asks you to go to bed? And they look at you and say, because Dad, we can't go to bed without a good beating. And so it's like, that's the call. And I'm, you know, you've got to stop that. It's like, well, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's ultimately summing up what I just heard both of you say, is like, hey, there are other ways to skin the cat, and it doesn't have to be rigid. Adaptability is the key to all paintball. Totally. And when we're rigid, when we have that style, then, you know, the best way is no style, in my opinion. So anyway, I'll get too much into Bruce Lee if I keep going. So.
Yeah, this is interesting. Hearts 187 says, we're taking away the freedom in paintball with too good coaching and regime. I totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think the more information players have when they go on creates way more freedom. If they know the person in front of them goes in and looks a certain way, now they, instead of stopping here, they can go 3 more spaces. Or I think it creates way more opportunity creativity and
I mean, that's
and it
one of
makes
the
it more
reasons I
exciting.
wasn't enjoying playing as much. Is like, you know, I feel like my mind's really strong on the game, and then I'm like, can I get some of this info to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it on Arsenal a little bit too. Like, you guys don't talk about, like, you know, these 3 really important things, like in the meetings. It's like, we need this. And I think that, like, you see better paintball with it. Players, I mean, great example. You know, I thought, like, watching, I got to talk to Thomas Hara on Sunday after the event for like an hour, and I was picking his brain. I was like, I'm not trying to gas you up too much, but bro, that was cool to see someone come out and actually win as the snake player. Like, hasn't been like that in a really long time. It's very impressive. And I noticed, like, in a lot of he came on our show, he was on Play the Game, and I noticed he kept saying, I just want to, like, thank you so much to the coaches, and, like, I just listened to the coaches. And I think a lot of times you, like, may hear I think maybe people probably, like, take that in as, like, oh, he's just being what is it, like, when the NFL players go into the press after and they're like, you know,
Humble. He's just being humble.
No,
Yeah,
like, I think he's talking about, like, coach speak.
Yeah, coach, like, they have to just say a certain few things. But then when I talked to Thomas, I was like, dude, what? And he was telling me, like, all his backstory and where he was about playing paintball and if he was going to continue. And he's like, man, you know, like, I was like, were you this good and you just got a chance? Is like, are there more semi-pro guys that are like this and they just haven't had the chance? He's like, honestly, like, I just followed what the coaches said, like, hardcore. What they told me, I just went out, executed it, and that's what happened.
Yeah, Max literally, like, rebuilt him, like, from a playing style. So what I saw from him that really drew me to wanting him to be here is his willingness to adapt and how hard he was working. He was literally driving from Oklahoma City to Kansas City, which is about a 4.5-hour drive every other weekend. Damn. Sleeping on people's floors and couch. I was like, okay, this is somebody who's doing all the work, right? They just have no guidance. There's nobody really, you know, molding the pieces that are already there. He had great gun skills. He's had great gun skills since I started watching him 3 years ago. He just didn't have all the right mechanics. He didn't know how to put it together well. I mean, Max, from a player perspective, like, his individual skills completely rebuilt him, like, from the ground up, like, changed his feet, changed the way his belly button was facing, twisted his shoulders a little differently, like, rebuilt him from the ground up. And then when we got to the event, I would just give him little pieces for each match. And we did the same thing at the last event, where I would give him, hey, in this match, I want you to just do this, this, and this. That's it. Just do this, this, and this. And then otherwise, make a lot of mistakes. It's okay. Make a lot of mistakes. It's fine. All of this is development for Sunday. Just make a lot of mistakes, especially with the snake on the last one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Feel it all out. Make a lot of mistakes. It's okay. The guy behind you is pretty good at playing the snake. We'll be fine.
Try to go from one starfish to the other and take a couple bodies. If you get shot or it doesn't work.
That's it. Literally, in that first match, we came out and I was like, hey, I point at the thing on my iPad and I'm there, starfish. This is your bunker. From the start to here, I don't care if you shoot anyone. Just use your gun as a tool to get here. Now, once you get here, now it's a weapon. Now I want you to shoot people, right? Yeah. But until you get here, I don't care if you shoot anybody. Like, if you can see where the crosses are coming from, great. If you can't, stop here for a second, take a peek, go to the next. But in the first event, we even did it where I walked with him bunker to bunker to bunker. We went through his progressions literally at every single space. And then on their side, where were all of his progressions and how it was going to work. And he still made tons of mistakes. He just was able to shoot a lot of people because that was a perfect snake for a kid who's, you know what I mean? Who's completely fearless, but I love that you brought it up in the way that you did too, because I think it speaks volumes about a player who comes in with absolutely no clue, really, but also that no clue creates no fear.
Yeah.
No fear, right? So
Yeah.
he is just like taking it all in. Yeah, taking it all in, absorbing. You know, he gets annihilated in that infamous game in that one point that I think that reel's been showed millions of times, where he stands up and gets annihilated.
Right.
And he doesn't care about any of that. He's literally standing up looking at the shot that he missed.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And getting annihilated and never loses focus. Comes right back in as they're cleaning him off. He's telling us, I missed this part of the progression, right? Like, not even talking about the fact that he just got shot 40 times.
Get him back. I need you guys to get him back. Yeah.
But see, that is freedom. That's freedom. When your coaches give you that type of freedom, because think about that, right? This is your role. This is your goal. This is that's freedom. It's not a narrow view or vision of it. That is freedom to articulate and do what you need to do. This is where we want you to be, and this is how we want you to progress to get there. Do these check boxes and then go get it. That's freedom. And so I think that's really powerful. Yeah.
It's funny too. Max coached me for a little bit too when I played a year with Art Chaos in Europe when it was Millennium, and it was really good. It's like Fedorov, Mishka, Sergey, Malloy, and me. And
pretty good team.
Yeah, pretty good team. And they were like, and then before we went to Millennium, the weekend before for practice together, and I was getting like, I must have been 23, 24. I was getting a lot of money, and I'd get it like back-to-back weekends. Like, this is the best. Because they would go, you just go to the snake or like somewhere close to it, and you can do whatever you want because we will win before. And it was so much fun. It obviously got, you know, when it came down to it, we had to do a little bit more intricate stuff, but there was a lot of freedom in there too. Definitely, like, I screwed up, I heard about it, but I really enjoy the way Max coached too. We could like kind of resonate with him, and it's not like super like I don't know, like cold, or like he had that warm sense of relatability too, which helped me a lot.
Yeah, and he coaches in a very simplistic
or
way.
Understanding.
I was going to say it's not complicated.
Yeah,
it's very simple.
So I love that about it.
And it's
speaking of complications, when you came back to Dynasty and took on a coaching role, being familiar with the team, what was your first goal or plan for the team? Like, what was the first thing you wanted to do with them, you know, or for the team? You know, how did you want to establish yourself, or was it just a natural fit?
Oh, I'm still doing it. I think we're getting close. But you know, we had scheduled me to come on the coach's show earlier in the year when we announced Dynasty, and then you know, something came up, and then we were trying to reschedule, and I was like, I almost want to like wait till I'm around all the guys before, you know, they see maybe like me
legitimate. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, talking without being with them, and then maybe like put some sort of, you know, idea in their mind of like how my coaching style, or who I am, or like what I'm trying to do, or if it's like a, you know, I wanted to leave all that out and earn the trust first, and I'm still kind of doing a lot of that. And, you know, the big ones too are the you know, like a Ryan Greenspan, which is, and so he sees it, and that is one too. It's like, you know, we were debating a lot at this last event, and I didn't actually, because I was playing the first event, I kind of took a back seat, and I didn't want to, like, you know, I just try to be more so a player, but kind of help with the stats, look over things. I was a lot more vocal in this one, and we would kind of get into it, and I was like, you guys made me, because you taught me this is how to win. So here we are. We got to debate. We're going to iron out the best game plan. So I want this. It's not personal, but let's like I embrace that we are having a debate about what is the right way to play the field, because I mean, I would watch that a lot as a player for Dynasty. And it would be like at least like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, if you combined all the little moments at the field. And then and we would all be sitting there, like Dalton, Tyler, and I, like just kind of like, laughing, doing whatever while that's going on. We're like, I guess we'll see. Maybe have like one thing to say, but then we would like, it's our time to go eat a snack or look at phone or go look at a shot or something like that while they argued. But now it's funny watching like full circles. The other guys are doing it. There is a couple guys too that like have good input and will say something, but there's definitely like a large majority that they're kind of like waiting to see what the decision is. And you have to kind of be like, you play the spot. Do you want to say anything about, what we're talking about? Because it's about the spot that you play. I don't know. To me, we always seen a lot of times, many times with Dynasty, that would help us get to it. And not like it's like, we got to argue. It's not like the point is not to argue, but it's like, I want to be
challenged.
Point out the flaw.
Yeah.
Like, because if you point out the flaw, I'm rational and be like, all right, yeah, that's it. Now we have the better plan.
No.
That's what makes a great plan.
I couldn't. I agree. A lot of great coaches and one all right one before you. So, it's like that's a little shot there. But I get it, right? Because I think what you're talking about is that healthy tension.
Yeah.
Right. That healthy tension where, hey, and I love how you said, you made me.
Yeah.
You created me.
Yeah.
Right. And this is how I was taught how to win. I love that. And I think that's fantastic. What a great statement. And to sit there and say, I want this. I want to be challenged so that we can together find the hole. I'm going to put something out here, poke holes in it. And if we find the hole, then we're finding solutions. We're moving in the right direction. So I think that's fantastic. I think that's great.
Hang on. I got to answer this question really quick. So Boosted JT07 says, why is Fit not looking good this year?
What?
I don't know what good's supposed to look like if they don't look good. I think they've lost 2 matches all year.
Right. And they're both in the semifinals. So I think
and then comes back to say they keep falling short every Sunday. They did better last year and the year before that. Well, the year before that, they were a rookie pro team who won one event at World Cup. Last year, they started the year really well. They looked really, really good last year. They won the series. They still look great. They are missing Trent Mason, who I think that's a big deal for them. I think he's a big part of the glue on that team. But Jesus, third place. If third isn't good anymore in this pro league,
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening. So what we're saying is, I guess Tampa Bay
really
Damage doesn't look good. The Canes don't look good. Nothing below Edmonton. All you guys who are 3 down, what's wrong with you? Is everything okay? You guys going to be all right? Like, I don't know if the league is hard.
Now look, boosted just in defense of Ryan Gray. I think what he's getting at is people are used to Fit winning events. They won 3 events back to back. Look, that's not sustainable. And if it was, then I'd have a lot more to say about the professional division in the NXL.
Also, to be clear, in the offseason this year, the top of the division got much better.
Yeah, I agree.
It got better. Like, it's like Damage, obviously winning World Cup last year, continuing on that reign. The Canes got better in the offseason. Dynasty got better in the offseason. Yep. I would say X Factor probably stayed the same. But the top of the league got better. It's no BS. And not having Trent is a big deal. He shoots a lot of people.
And honestly, I also think we always talk about we've talked about it for like the last 3 years about parity in the division. And I think there are no easy games anymore. Well, there might be one.
There's one.
Yeah. But there's I hate to be that guy.
I will. I'll be that guy.
I know you will. That's why you're here.
The other Ryan too. My Ryan too will be that guy.
He's
Yeah,
my
that's
guy,
true.
dude.
Dude, I love
Yes.
it when he goes off
He's
on
my
a
guy.
rant about that. It's so funny. It's pretty good. But no, you've already, I guess you answered my question, which was going to be, what's the one thing you saw yourself bringing to the organization in that role? And I think you just answered it, which was a great answer. I want to be the challenger.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's not fully what it is though, too. To be honest, I think, there's been a lot of people that have been kind of mentors to me, but I owe a lot of it, honestly, to Oliver, to his adaptability and creativeness and innovation, and being able to go like, all right, what's next? Like what's beyond this current meta that we're playing? Like, how do we improve? How do we improve? And that's what I'm like striving for a lot.
Right.
And just also, I think because they would see like Oliver and Ryan, there's analytics, and there's also like passion and love and energy and motivation. And so I think that's a lot of what I think I'm bringing into the team. And I've had offers to go to do some things for a good substantial amount of money this year, and I went back to Dynasty for basically nothing. And it was kind of like it's humbling in a sense too, where I feel a lot more freedom of being able to say what I think is actually right versus maybe just shutting up because I want to get paid.
Yeah.
Which been really free. And actually, Oliver was in town the other weekend. We were having this big conversation. He's like, "Holy shit, that actually might be what it is with Dynasty that's needed," because he can see that. Like, if I'm getting a bunch of money, I'm not gonna be arguing with the guy who gives me my paycheck. I'm like, yeah, that's sure, yeah, that's right. But now it's like I'm not gaining anything like monetarily. I want us to win. Dynasty's like my team. Dynasty's my team for sure. Even with through all these years, my heart's been there, and so it's kind of giving back to them. I want nothing but success for them. Always keep their legacy going on, and I think I won't beat that up because I feel like I said what I just needed to say pretty much.
It's so funny. My next question was, how do you balance respecting the Dynasty identity while also bringing your own style and ideas? You just answered it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm like, if you guys just let me, if you need to let me go, then I guess let me go. But let's just see.
I love that.
Yeah. I do too.
I do too. And Kyle, just because obviously I know, some of the culture that you've been around, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That you have that freedom and you feel that comfortable and that confidence, right? I think that's really important for your growth and also their success. And that's awesome.
Yeah. Because I made a lot of decisions for monetary, value, like move through a lot of those pro teams that you've talked about too, for, maybe the next bigger deal. This is giving me some more like probably healthy pressure in my own other like Tigerware and coaching it to push harder in those things that I think that I've kind of been a little bit like relaxed about or not as on it. And so this is kind of put me in a little bit of a good struggle. And so, just it's starting to, bell curve starting to come back towards the top.
Food and shelter are great motivators.
Yes.
They're great motivators.
Yeah.
So
and
it shows too in the Tigerware stuff. Like a lot of the stuff you're creating and putting out is awesome.
Thank you. I wanted to go back really quick too with that. The comment of fit and talking about like how hard it is to stay at the top consistently. I remember when I was up scouting, you guys were playing, Red Legion was playing Uprising at this last event. You guys played them, right?
Mhm.
Brian?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you guys were beating the brakes off of them at the beginning. And then I came back and told the team that night in our meeting, and this is why I think it's so hard to win. Like, win 3 events in a row is pretty hard, but more than that in pro, it's not really possible. I felt like I watched that game from the beginning, and then like because of your guys' playing style, you forced them to find a new gear in real time in that match. Like you guys leveled them up by playing against them. Like you have to meet us at this style if you even want a remote chance. And they still lost the match, but they got better.
Yeah. Did you see their next match?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm like, that's, goes into answering that question of like why it's so hard, because, team does well and like Fit comes into the league and they win, punch people in the mouth, win a World Cup. And then, people have to adapt and get better, sink or swim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly right.
And it is like, it's not just the top of the league. The whole league is getting better. It's getting better. Like even the team that we love to, talk shit on. I do think if they went down to the semi-pro division, would be a really good semi-pro team. They're just unfortunately not performing at a pro level. Previous Bear Ridge / Jungle Cats come into the league and they're sitting at 14th, and they won. They didn't win any of the events, right? Or did they win 1 or 2?
No, they won 1, and then the rest were then 3 seconds and a third, I think.
Yeah. So, at the top of the semi-pro division the entire time, and they're sitting at 14th, right? Paintball Fit comes in, wins every tournament that year, and finishes the year, I think, 8th, even after winning an event. Maybe they were 6th after winning an event, but like it's a tough league. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Everybody's pretty damn good. All right. Let's talk a little more about Dynasty. So now that are you for Cincinnati? I know Ryan's still hurt for Cincinnati. He's not going to be playing. So is he going to be coaching then? Or
I thought he was taking it day by day, but maybe you guys
no, I don't.
We don't know.
I thought he was hurt until after Cincinnati.
Yeah.
No, I think he's been starting to practice a little bit more out at our local field here in San Diego that Todd's running. I was we bickered a lot at this last event, debating heavy debate at this last event, and I felt like I was like kind of like I didn't even really want to offer this, but I knew Ryan would be like, damn, and I was like, hey, if you want like to go have like start to warm up, like even do some light stuff at the field during the weekdays, because we have weekdays off, like maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and we could just start doing some light stuff. Like I'll run out to some corners and shoot back at you, even if you want to just get the rhythm back, get your shot back. Yeah. So as you're prepping, he's like, dang, I think he's like, okay, that's nice. I didn't expect that. Doing stuff like that. But so we were planning to do that last Wednesday. He was teaching and I had set up, but I think he might be okay to play this event. So we'll see.
Okay.
That's already off of.
No, that's great. Yeah. And that's great news, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to, like if you're a true competitor, in my opinion, you want to play a team at their best, right? You want them to be at their best. Because then when you win, it's like at the first event when we were practicing you guys, I'm like, yeah, they don't look like normal, but they're missing, in my opinion, their 2 best players, right? Like Ryan and Blake are both incredible. So, it's not the same Dynasty without those 2 guys. Just not. I mean, you could see the difference at the last event. Blake was doing Blake stuff.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
if
I didn't know if you finished. That kind of cut you
well,
off.
I was going to ask, if Ryan ends up coaching, do you then play, or are you going to commit to the coaching role completely? Or is that still kind of a back and forth day by day, like Ryan with the shoulder?
I think it's, I guess it would be day by day. I'll play if I need to get some reps. I mean, I'm playing a little bit on the layout so that I can understand kind of the flow of it.
Sure.
But I'm enjoying, and I think I'm extremely good at that coaching role, and it's probably in the best interest to do that. But yeah, right. Even at this last event, Ryan was playing, like I had like final say on if like Ryan wanted to change something. And Eric Crandall too, he came up to me after the event. He goes, I know, like, he goes, look, at the end of the day, Ryan's player and you're a coach. It's like the, parent-child thing. When the child gets older, you're like, but you're still the parent. And I was like, he's like, you don't have to argue. You could just or prove the point to Ryan and get him to like buy in. You could just say, Ryan, this is how it is. And I was like, oh wow, all right, I guess I do, which is funny. like it's really weird, a really weird dynamic to, like, these guys were, I had posters of these guys on my wall. Now I'm coaching. It's very, very odd. But I mean, I don't think about any of this when,
I can relate.
My passion, I literally, like, people see red and they like black out. I black out to, like, if something is like, this is the way to win, like, I'm gonna fight for it. I don't, like, you say that these walls in my house are black, like, I don't care how much you pay me, I'm gonna be like, no, that's not the case. Like, these are white. They're white walls. Like, nothing.
No
like,
debate.
But I will be like, if it comes to a debate, like, I'll debate you and be passionate about it, because I don't want us, like, I don't want to, have oversight to lose just because I submitted,
Right.
And it's not even like it's not an ego thing. It's really like, okay, I'm not playing. I'm not trying to get on the field. Like, this is for us, for you guys to go out there and succeed. If you have a better way to explain it, then please. And I think, like, this happens too with my other teams, or like even a lot of times, it's happened a few times already this year with Dynasty. I'm like fighting for something, and then they're like, well, what about this? And I was like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, that is. And they're like, wait, you're done? Are you being sarcastic? I'm like, no, I see it now. That is the missing piece. You're right. And we don't have to fight anymore. I'm like, no, I'm rational. I just, like, we had to get to this point, and come to a better solution. And now it got vocalized, or the full picture got.
It was seen. Yeah. It was seen. Yeah, totally. That's cool.
Efficiency. It's efficiency. Recognizing the solution, moving on.
Yeah, boosted. I know Dynasty still has great players other than Blake and Ryan, but they were the two players who weren't there, and I think they are two of their better or best players. Yeah. I agree that all the players on Dynasty are really good, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings by not agreeing with you.
Trust me, if you wanted to hurt someone's feelings, you would.
Yeah, they're all good, or they wouldn't be on that team.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's understanding situations. Like, I mean, like Archie Barnes Jr. on our team, he's still relatively inexperienced as a pro player. Athletically, a specimen.
Yeah.
They can do every single thing. But then, like, if you forget about something that a Yosh or a Blake might not forget. And I'm not just, kind of talking about, like, most of the veterans in the league, why they still have a place on the starting lineup, is because decision-making skills,
right,
with experience.
Consistency of decision-making skills, right? They have a mental Rolodex that they can draw on experience that is way larger than most players out there. So
yeah, they've been in that situation 10,000 times, and they can go back and touch, like, oh, I've done it this way, and those 10,000 times I did it this way, 2,000, and it didn't work out well. I'm going to do it the same way I did it the other 8,000 that worked well. Like, they have such an advantage over the young guys right now. Such an advantage. It's I do think, and I want your opinion on this, as the tempo of the layouts are getting faster, I do think that the younger guys are finding more success with that because they don't have to slow things down and process it all out, where it's more of a high tempo, high paced game. They can get away with knowing less, right? Because they can sort of just focus on like this thing, and this thing, and that's all I have to worry about. Right.
And like we alluded to earlier, they still have to shoot you. They have to hit the shot.
Right.
Like you were talking about, Kyle, and I didn't mean to interrupt, Ryan, but I think that's something that a lot of players don't think about. They don't think about. They're like, yeah, but what if? Yeah, what if? Then okay, if I ask you to do this, you get shot. That's on me. That's not on you, and that does not mean any. Okay, we'll do this. That will change the route. Whatever. I think to your point, Ryan, that's right. We complicate paintball, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And I think that's what happens. A lot of players get in their own heads and sit there and say, well, yeah, but what if this and this, and I've got to, if A, then B, and this, that, and then I've got to make this. No, I think a lot of it is layout dependent, player dependent, tool dependent. So anyway, I wanted to get that in there because a lot of people, I get that all the time. That's the thing that upsets me more than anything. There's two things that really upset me in paintball, Kyle. That is when a player runs to the bunker and everything and says, what do we got? Well, what do you know? All right. Yeah. Were you not watching when you were, what were you doing?
He ran to his bunker with his eyes closed.
Bunker and didn't do anything.
Like this.
Why were your eyes not downfield? Anyway, and two, the other thing that bothers me is, but what if?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Why are we having this conversation?
In my rounds, I'm too patient, so I'll be like, okay, yeah, let me think about it. A lot of the older Dynasty guys were like, you guys got to stop giving Kyle that because then he's trying to break it down and then give you an answer. You're wasting time. Stop giving him. There's always that. Harrison's good for a lot of those, which you know.
100%. Harrison's good for that.
The what ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're important, but only to a certain point where it's like, okay, that what if probability is about 3%. So let's not focus on that. You got some what ifs that are like 80%ers. Let's talk about those.
Let's talk about those.
Yeah. Let's talk about
the 80-20.
What are your thoughts, Kyle? Do you think with the faster tempo layouts, less pods, those kind of things, that the younger players, and you kind of mentioned Archie Barnes in that for a moment. I really felt like Archie in the first event, like you guys were going to let him loose, right? And he was going to end up spending a lot of time on the other team's side of the field.
Yep.
And I saw he kept like stopping at the clover and not wanting to go forward. And I didn't know if that was like a design thing, a safety thing. Like we want to keep him here to having this body because we don't have Ryan to come behind. Like I really felt like Archie was going to be sort of let loose on that layout.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it just kind of had seemed that was which is why you saw Harrison in the snake in that first event. We were, obviously we had a lot of I don't know if I would call it inconsistency but of like it was after we played you guys at practice and you beat the brakes off us. Like we got some new paint, but I think it was like past the Mercy. It was like 9-0. And we were like, this is like the third day. And we're like, oh no, we have to go back and redesign everything. Like what happened here? Which is why then you guys had left, I think, and they're like, you got to suit up. Like we got to like maybe have you play a little bit and start to understand and see if you're going to be needed on the field. But I think we were just like a little bit, a lot of unsurety on how exactly we wanted to play the field, but we're going off of, what the players had shown us was how much they could get it to that red line.
Okay.
And
I see.
Harrison brought Harrison over there. Mikey was doing great, but we're not like Mikey was good as the 2 or the 1.
Yeah.
But if he's the 1 every time, he's obviously going to burn out a little bit. So I think that's just why I don't have a full, and also I was more so worried about like making sure I was ready to play as well, because I was
valid.
Yeah.
And I was doing both, and then can you just focus on? And I was like, kind of a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I'll let Ryan kind of take reins of coaching on that first event. And so, but the second event obviously was way smoother.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For sure. For sure.
Well,
that's all the dynasty questions I have.
Yeah. Well, I before we get, because we're already an hour and 20 into this, a little bit more, I want to talk about paintballpicks.com.
Okay.
I think,
have you looked at it a little bit?
A little bit. Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to kind of play around and look in there. Where did this whole idea come from?
So Ryan and I would every once in a while, we do, for like the past couple of years, it was called Legal Beagle betting, and we would just have whoever our guest was, and like the weeks leading up to the tournament, everyone would submit, think is going to win each prelim game. And so we'd have like Rainey, and then we like made like a little group chat, and whoever wanted to submit their picks, like Damien and Meter, Skinny Kevin, Rainey, we'd all do it. And then we'd have like a little, a pool of like 8 guys, and then we would count the prelim games after. And then I was like, I've been heavy in AI for a lot of things. And so I was like, oh, here I can just prompt this now into this AI app builder that I know about, and let's see what I can do. And it was like a couple of weeks of work, and but it was basically that's how it formed. It was just picking prelim games, and I was like, how do I make it a little bit more interesting? And then it was at just a bare minimum level, it was just picking the prelim games. And then I was like, it would be cool to see some insights on or how these two teams match up. So the other thing that I want to do is actually go back and put data from the last 5 or 10 years, but it would only show, I'm not exactly, it'll get a little skewed because I don't want to have teams in there that are not in the pro league. So then some of these teams will have a lot more games than, like a Jungle Cats, because they're new to the pro league, which I don't think is the worst thing. But now with the advancements of AI, I feel like there's a lot of stats that, we can find, and like that one's cool that you're on right now too, the dominance index. Which what's interesting on that one too is fit is not that high. They're actually one of the lower teams in the league for blowouts, versus like obviously Red Legion, that's based on your wins. So Aftermath's up there just because 2 out of 3 of their wins are by 4 points. But that was just based on your wins. How many, like, if you went over a 4-point spread. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a little like passion project too, because like these are insights like I just think are cool to have. And I want to keep adding more to it. So yeah, kind of.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like I said, going through it, I was like, wow, I like this one. I like this one. This is very, very cool. And of course, a lot of it is based off like, actual gambling perspectives.
I wrote it into the thing. I was like, I want you to make this look like a casino.
Well, it paid off. You prompted it well because it has that feel and that look, especially with the plus minus aspect to it. I love it. So look at this.
Yeah, so you can look at two teams.
Oh, you would pull those two up, right?
What's interesting on the first event.
Actually, it's not as bad as I thought.
For Tampa, if you click Tampa there, Ryan, and then put right underneath just the filter Tampa only, and then you go to average scoring. So Aftershock is ranked third, even though they went 0-4 because they had a high.
They played so many points.
They played so many points.
Well, they scored.
Yeah.
At 4.8 for average points per match. So it's interesting to like kind of, see how a lot of these, I mean, I feel like there's so many things that we could potentially start to see or have now too, as coaches and then for fans as well too, and for people to see and keep track of things. But with the analytics, as far as, bunker, how bunker bunkers match against other breakouts with a big sample size. But I don't know, it's endless. When I think of ideas, I go and plug and work on that and try to add more stuff, but it definitely can get a little bit messy. Like when there's a little snag, it takes a good 3 hours to go back and find out where that was and fix it. But yeah, you basically just go on here, buy a ticket. The money, part of your money gets pulled into first, second, and third. And then it's going off. There's a couple metrics on what scores you points. One's obviously you choosing the winner of the game. And then you have like an overtime toggle if you think the game's going to go into overtime. And then if you don't think the game's going into overtime, there's a toggle for like how many points they won by. You can maybe see it, Ryan, if you click that yellow bar underneath Midwest. Let's see if I think it should be loaded. And then just hit lock in one ticket. It won't prompt you. And then you scroll down. Okay, yeah. So you see and I haven't went over this too to make sure it's accurate, but Hurricanes and Sea Dogs. And if you click that P, the green P next to it, it'll show you the metrics on how these guys match up against each other. Just like a quick view, which is kind of like that insights we were looking at. Mm-hmm. And then when you go to pick the game, you click on one of the teams. Just hit that exit bar up there. You just pick your team, and should highlight it. Yeah. And then you can do points for. So if we think the Sea Dogs are to beat the Hurricanes by 4, if we think they're going to beat them by 4 points, is that working?
Yep.
Yeah, he's got it.
Okay, cool. If you pick exactly correct, you get a point for picking the right team, and then you get 2 points for picking the right margin. But if we picked 4 points and the Sea Dogs win by 3 points, you just only get 1 extra point. And then if you're off by, if you're off by 2 or 3, you don't get any extra points for that. But if you pick Hurricanes by 4 and you're wrong by lots of things, you get deducted points. So a safe way to play.
Hurricanes are the favored.
Yeah. So a great way to play on a base level would be if you pick Hurricanes and the Sea Dogs win, you don't lose, you don't get any penalties. It's a wash. You just get 0 points. And I believe, let me go back and look at it. I believe it's
so you only lose points if you pick the margin.
Yeah. And overtime, even if you pick Hurricanes and you pick that it's going to go to overtime, you get a half a point if that's actually the case. But if it doesn't go to overtime and Hurricanes still win, you don't get any penalties. But if you pick like Sea Dogs in overtime and then Hurricanes win and it doesn't go to overtime, that's when you get hit with the penalties. So there's like a few different little things in there that can stack up. Or the reason I did it this way too is because when we would do this, Ryan would be like, hey, like 3 or 4 of us all have the same scores, so we need to make some picks on some Sunday games.
That is very cool.
And all the money gets pooled. Like, obviously, take a little bit. The first one, I kind of lost out. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put $200 for first place, and then $100 for second, and then like $50 for third, and then the tickets. People buy tickets, and it'll just cover all that. And I end up owing a little bit, but as people buy tickets, it gets spread out across through the 3. It goes back into the pool. I don't know why it's not on there, but I think it's when you go into that next screen, you have had a little calculator where you could scroll it and you could see. And if you click that high stakes one, if you scroll down a little bit, Ryan, that little tab right below, it's right above that. Yep.
Higher stakes.
That one, yeah, that one's kind of cool. It's like, and I guess I haven't set the thing, but it's $50 a ticket, but that will juice up quick, and then it's a lot less people to kind of go into that prize pool. So it's still kind of like just in its baby beta form right now. Needs more work, but it's cool for now.
I predict significant success with this, Kyle.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I really do. So it's a great idea, and so far it looks well executed. So,
and I love that you put all the data that we all keep in this like way that people can gamble. Like, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's funny though that like when you first showed me this, I was like, shit, I keep all of this, and I do it the same way. By the way, I just grab it and feed it into AI, and it does it all for me.
There it is. Some graphs.
Yeah, Perplexity is fun.
Yeah, I mean AI is insane right now.
Yeah,
it's funny. I actually had a player start doing some of this stuff. It was funny. So this is not any type of braggadocious thing, but we were doing an off layout practice, and we had this layout, and we were doing this process where I do my process. Ryan's very familiar with my process. Kyle, you're somewhat familiar with it. And so I came up with a couple of different things that we would do, high probability things. And that night, a friend of mine comes in and he says, hey, I put it into AI, and AI agrees with 3 of your 4 things. And I went, I'm a computer. And then I realized,
oh, geez. I'm amazing. I'm like a computer.
And then when I looked at the one thing it didn't agree with me about, I was like, well, that's stupid. And that's when I realized that AI was dumb. I was like, so. Now, hey, before we go, let's have a little bit of fun here with our guest, Ryan. Ryan does this occasionally, Kyle, and he'll put together these fun questions. And there's a couple that he's got in here that I kind of wanted to hear the answer to. So I was going to let him fire away on some of those. You want to hop on those, Ryan?
Sure. Who's the hardest player to coach?
Ooh. I mean, I guess like here, a funny one could be like, it could be Ryan. I'll find out. I'll find out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's a good point, Kevin.
Casual call says besides Ryan.
That's right. That was like great caveat there, casual.
I guess it's just my team, or it's like.
Okay, I tell you what, we can expand it. So yeah, for your team, and then who you think would be difficult to coach throughout the league.
I mean, I guess you just gotta let him do his thing. I think Fedorov is probably hard to coach if you need him to.
All right.
Like I give a lot of freedom to those creative players, and I try not to put them in a box. Like we have a couple those guys too on the TJ bastards that I guess more so too, just because haven't had, again, this is 1.5 events coaching Dynasty. I don't have I don't have enough data to kind of give anyone specific, but I will say
I do like the Fedorov answer.
It's
and that's not a slight, everybody at Fedorov. That is not a slight. That's
no,
actually
no. And it's a little bit more intricate than what I'm saying here. It's like you don't you also don't, you want to make sure that you're giving him the right information that's not going to hurt his game.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's why I was also saying, like, it's difficult, but I guess I could give you like some things I would, for me, it's like, I'm pretty honest and I'm not yelling. And most of the time I'm smaller than the guy that's talking to me, so they could not feel threatened by me.
That's why I carry a gun.
Just not being honest, not being honest, telling me exactly how like a situation happened, or just not expressing, like, I had this weekend, like, guy was like, I can't go on the field. And it got a little messed up. And then he was like, well, I wasn't like that tired, but I was pretty gassed. And I was like, dude, I just needed your mind on the field. I would have moved you back to the 2 and you could have stayed in this one bunker, and like regained your energy for a point in that bunker. But I needed your mind on the field because we just lost 2. And you also didn't tell me you were ready to go again. And I just saw you just laughing with and joking around with guys. So are you ready to come back on the field? And so I think it's transparency.
Good. And
also, like, for me, it's just, I'm really good at understanding people in a way. I feel very confident that I could kind of get a read on like what helps, how to like empathize or sympathize with players and meet them at like, hey bro, I know what you're going through. I've dealt
where
with
they're
it.
at.
Yeah, you're not expected. And that and I get it, like, not everyone's super transparent or wants to share what's going on, of like how they think about the game or whatnot. So I just try to like constantly give examples till I see that maybe they're like, oh, okay, I can feel comfortable explaining these basically insecurities about thought process or the game. Like, people are like, how do you cope with the adrenaline and I'm like, that's never going to go away. You just get more comfortable with it maybe, and the game slows down a little bit. But
there you go.
The paintball's hurt and they're coming at you really fast. So when that horn goes, like, you're going to feel a little bit of that intensity. Can't completely numb it.
And you kind of don't want them to either.
You don't. No. You want that fight or flight response.
Yeah.
You want it to be the fight, obviously. But, it's just, you want that adrenaline there, 100%.
There was a good, there was a practice. And I know you guys also, I've talked to both of you guys at length. I know that you'll like have a player, I'm not going to call anyone out by name, but they were tired in a practice. And I like to give the option a lot of times to the outside guys on you want to go into the Dorito or to the Dorito corner. Just, you have to pick one of those based on the game. And they're like, oh yeah, it was like corner a lot. Mm-hmm. And they ended up just kind of hanging in the corner mostly. And then finally it was like, hey, I need to like down a couple points. And then so I waited like till the next weekend. I was like, you were tired and you wanted to go to the corner? Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I knew. That's why I didn't say you had to like switch it up, but just so you know, like, I realized and I let you do that. So like, but you don't have to just say that it's something else. Just say that, like,
right.
We're a human.
Yeah. Be honest.
We had a player this last event, and yesterday, and he's like one of the best players, and he's just magnet point after point. We're still winning points 4-up, but he was not the person that should be getting shot. If I sat him a point, which I remember Ryan, you guys doing with Thomas when he like had kind of like 2 little rough points in a row and they got sat, and some people were like, oh, they sat Thomas, he must be playing bad. I was like, it's just like a point together, his mind,
right?
He'll be back out. And then so I did it with one of the players on the Lords, and that next point he got shot, and I could see that he was kind of positioning to get rid of the hit. And I was like, so when he came off, it didn't happen. We didn't get a penalty or anything. He came off. I was like, hey, come here. I was like, you're fine. And I know you just got shot. I know your ball won again. Like, bro, I don't care. I don't want it to come to what I think that you and I both know that I saw. I'm not yelling here. You got shot again, and I'm not yelling at you, and you're going to play again. So can you just figure out some way to reset it? I think you have to like play around with those things versus like just constantly like grilling dudes into the ground. Yes. Works for some, but others not so much.
Right. It's math, right? That guy, your best player that got shot 3 times in a row on the, and you give him that point and it's math, because I'd much rather put my guy out there who's winning 80% of the points than going to the bench and putting a guy in there that only won 20 to 30% of the points he played when he was at practice. And a lot of people are going to take a problem with that. They're like, well, no, you need to mix it up. You need to give the other guy the chance because your dude's obviously. No, man, it's math. He had his opportunity to show it to me at practice. Now we're here at the event, and I'm going to go with what I know, which is the 80%, right?
I mean, we're the example of that, I think. I mean, literally, we have really good players sitting on our bench because, the numbers were different, right? Yeah. Like, so if the data says that this guy should play and this guy shouldn't, we're going to play that guy until he literally says, like, hey, I need a point.
Yes.
And our guys rarely need that, right? So
you're going to get shot.
Yeah, it's just math.
A paintball is going to hit like the center 50, go up in the air, and then land on the loader one time. You're like, did that come from another? Or you get shot from another field.
Right.
Like,
or a guy just made, like, he did something different at that point and he shot you. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Cool. By the way, they're really good too. So it's okay.
And it's not personal.
Like,
the guy that's not playing, it's not personal. You're going to get another chance at the next layout and the next practices to prove that you're better than that guy that started in front of you last time. So clean slate. Boom. Show me that. Make it to where there's no doubt. And
so what's one coaching mistake you made early that you'll never make again?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Well, as I'm thinking about the one that I won't make again, I'll say the one that I pretty diligent about trying to stay on, but I can't say I won't ever do it again, but is like going against, my strong intuition or instinct that like, I need to do this. And then I'm just like completely go against the grain for some reason. It doesn't always turn out the best. So I try to just play into my intuition a lot when I feel strong about a certain thing.
Second guessing your gut.
Yeah. Like, Mouse was coaching TJ Bastards with me for a while, and Damien was our guest pro, Damien Vasquez, and he was playing the snake and he's not playing it well. And instantly, like during the first match, I was like, dude, we got to put him on the Dorito side. Like, I was like, no, I got him. I'm like, teach him. And I was like, all right. And like match 3, we're still trying it. And then we didn't make it out of the prelims. And I was like, I should have just went with it. Cause then when we did the 4th match, we put him over there and succeeded. I'm like, doing it a little bit, a little faster. There is, I will say actually, and I know kind of like ragged on Greenspan a good amount of times here, and not to discredit him. The guy is the GOAT.
Hey, he's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, he's a phenom. What he did say to me at this last event that really resonated with me, and I think that this will be something that I continue to do with forward, is I have a tendency to, and that kind of goes in with what I was saying to one of your pet peeves, like the what ifs, playing into that. Like I'll play into it. I also tend to explain like my thought process of why something is so successful as we're doing it.
Right.
Like maybe in the pit, and the players don't always need that if they want to come back to me after and be like, what made you make that decision? Then I can like nerd out and explain it to them. But Ryan's like, man, I think that's like, they don't need to understand why, like just give them that direction. And that was like a really good thing for my growth that Ryan explained to me, just to keep it a little bit more lean and
efficient.
Yeah.
But I think that does go back to like the way we started this show with like, you want to coach like you want to be coached, and that is something you need. Like the way you play and the way your mind works, you really want the why. You want to know all of the things that are happening and why they're happening and how they're supposed to happen and all that kind of thing. Whereas most players not only don't want that, but they don't understand it. Right. They really do want to have this like job mentality. Like I want to go out and do this like 1, 2, 3 thing and then use my instincts to play out the rest. Right.
Yeah.
And so, and good for Ryan and good for you too, to kind of have that understanding. Like one of the hardest parts for me as a coach throughout my career has been sort of evolving the different tools I try to use to help different players. Right. Like trying to make sure like, okay, and sometimes I don't even have it in my bag. Right. It's like, okay, this is a new club. Like, I don't have this in my bag. I don't know this shot. I haven't done this one before. Right. This is a new personality. This is a new thing. And good for you. That shows big growth. Right. Because you are going to have those players like you that want to know all that. Right. Yeah. And that'll be your opportunity to nerd out with them. So yeah, that's cool. All right. Last one. What's one thing you hope your players say about you as a coach after they leave you?
That I'm the best coach they ever had.
That's it?
I mean, that encompasses all. No, I mean, someone that really understands like a player on an individual level. That it's a lot more. Allows them to like bolster their own intuition. Like all three of us can be deciding on something, and we can all have like group think, and we can all decide on this is all the right answer, but it could be just about what we're doing for our personal lives. It's like we're us three, we just all decided because AI is booming that we're going to go into AI jobs because why not? Like AI is crushing right now, but that's not maybe just internally and through what's through your intuition, what's going to actually fulfill you. And so I advocate pretty heavily of like, I think that if you kind of buy into that a little bit more and trust it does help guide you, most of the time correctly for what like that specific person needs. And then as a coach, I'm going to put that puzzle together. I don't like having guys not play to their strengths or try to mold them to be someone completely different. That's makes them worse is not something I'm about.
Yeah.
Right. And so I guess it's having confidence in themselves.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That I try to like complete everything, the stats. I'll do all that, do the everything like from. I'll fill up your guns. I'll run grab the pods. Even one match here, they're like, "Who's grabbing the pods?" Because the guy who's grabbing the pods is usually like a guy that doesn't play much, and he had to play. And I was like, Hector, he just had to play. I was like, I'll go get the pods. Where's the bag? Like, it's not a big deal, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to win. Somebody else, whoever's not playing, we're up 5-0. Like, you go get the pods.
Right.
Like, can't someone? But yeah, I mean, I really just try. It's weird. I didn't even feel that happy with this last one because I didn't have all the answers. We still won. I don't feel like we played that good, and there's still things I was trying to figure out. I couldn't really like figure out. It wasn't pretty, and so I don't feel like fully. I don't ever. And I'm sure you guys do this as well too, but like
Every time. Are you kidding?
I don't even put it. I don't even put it on the players. Like
Yeah.
the only thing I will. My pet peeve is like if I'm like go in here, go into the snake one and look inside because they're gonna run through here, and then you go into the snake one and you look down the tape, and there's not even any shooting. I'm like, that the clipboard's exploding. Right.
Yeah, the clipboard's going across the dude's head when he gets to the pit.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
I'm going to jail.
I have more times than not, like as we get out of the preliminary rounds, said, "Wow, we're still not playing well."
yeah.
I don't think we played that well in Tampa. Like we had lots of different challenges. Like I don't think we played that event well. And I certainly don't think we played the last event well. Like I don't know that I ever walk away and I'm like, well, Cincinnati last year, up to a certain point, I was saying that every match, and then as we worked our way through Sunday during the X Factor match, I was like, okay, now we're playing well, right? Now we're starting to play well. But up until that point, like I didn't feel like we were playing well. Like we were still making tons of mistakes. There were lots of, and not when I talk about tons of mistakes, I don't just mean like the guy. I mean like us as a coaching staff, like still like little pit things that we hadn't worked out. Like there were just like multiple things that I was like, God, we're just like, we're kind of piecing it together. But in my head, I'm like, God, what could this look like if this was right and this was right? And then the product's going to be what the product is. But if we could fix these things that we have control over, how much better is that product? Right. Like, anyway, yeah, it's wild.
I get that 100%. I think we all do.
Maybe we're too critical. Maybe we're too
critical.
critical.
But that's the role. Like I'm always told, hey, quit worrying. I'm like, I'm a coach. It's my job.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like you're telling me to go against my grain. And it's not that I'm worrying as much as I want to make sure this is right, because like you, Kyle, I think all three of us and most coaches in the professional division want to see success for their guys.
Yes.
It's that simple, right? Like I said at the beginning of the show, players can see through you if you're not being legitimate, if you're not genuine.
Yeah.
And a player who thinks you're not genuine won't run through a wall for you.
Yes. Yeah. And that was a big thing too. I'm doing with now too. I have to earn the trust from the guys, and that's just time. So I try to make sure I'm like, doing the legwork. Like a good thing that sat with me for a while too, like conversation that Ryan and I had when he was coaching Diesel, because I was kind of, I was playing, but I was also giving a lot of feedback and maybe catering towards the not playing as much side, but like geared up and ready to play, and playing a little bit, like giving a lot of feedback, or like this guy should do this, and Ryan's like, well, you're still playing, so like you got to be able to go do it and show them that it's possible versus just telling them. And I was like, yeah, you're 100% right. So, I've taken that into a lot of my coaching as well, like of giving the player space to be like, is this correct? Like, do you see a problem with it? Like, are you like, tell me, like, I'm not on the field, guys, like, instead of just being like, it's my way or the highway.
Right.
Where you're seeing, unfortunately, a lot of the, younger or the coaches that don't have a lot of experience playing are making demands that are unrealistic.
Yeah, it's like power trip. It's an ego thing.
Like at that point, you should be like, players, teach me for a second. Like, take me to school.
Yeah,
and I understand. Because like if you haven't played, you had a lot of work to do. Like to spend understanding. I mean, I'm not sure, man. If you like never played paintball, like it's you got to spend a lot of time. I don't even know how like you can fully do it without playing.
Yeah,
a little bit, feeling like the adrenaline and how where your mind goes to when you're playing versus watching from the sideline.
Totally. Yeah, you have to understand all those fears and everything that like snap in as soon as that horn goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as that game starts, like what are all the different things that they're going through? That shit's all important.
Yep.
Especially if you like, and you and I had this discussion multiple times with the Diesel guys with talking about doing blind shots or playing from those blinds.
Yeah.
And it was always weird to me how many of them said like, you know, no, I'm really uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now being with a team where literally all 5 guys on the field are like, yeah, you want me to stand in that weird area and shoot that? Yeah, no problem. And they'll just go do it. They'll just like do it. And then they'll come off and be like, yeah, that didn't work. It's like, okay, great. Or yeah, that works. It's like, all right, perfect. But they'll like, they're
or my
to
favorite,
risk.
or my favorite is they'll do it. They'll get shot and like, yeah, I could have done it better. Let me try it one more time.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're buying into the process. And then, then you get real data that way.
Hearts in the comments said, are there any good coaches in Europe? I would say Pascal from Tauntauns
is amazing. He's amazing.
Incredible. Like,
yeah, he's amazing.
I mean, he's making it look easy in some sense. I know at the end when I was leaving Diesel the previous year and I ended up going to Arsenal, I was talking to Tauntauns. I almost went to Tauntauns. I was actually really excited to get to be coached by him because I really like. I don't know exactly what his formula is, but like he's like doesn't have a clipboard and
it's all in his head.
It's all in his head.
It's all in his head. And like I don't know how the players like can understand what they're all doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'd want to see it visually like
because we're explaining like, you know, through our language that to other people that speak our language, a lot of different layers. Like think about it like a minute long point. You have to explain to 5 guys, couple variables for each guys, and maybe if they need to switch at a certain time limit. So like explaining.
Well, none of those guys are visual learners, that's for sure, because he doesn't he doesn't have anything to show them. So my point is, I would love to have a translator in there and actually hear what he is saying. Because you know, because like you, I'm in awe. I'm like, wow, what he just, it's all in his head. And then, you know, what would be so disappointing is if the translator comes in and he's like, you suck, play better. And that's all he's saying, you know? You know, but I know that's
stood
not
in their pit and tried to like, because, you know, he speaks English to Fedorov, obviously. So I like sat in there, like next to the pit last year a couple of times and was like, just trying to like understand the method to the madness. Right.
Yeah.
I think I walked away from their pit more confused than when I got
See,
I'm serious because it was just like it's so little information that he gives, and like when they come back in, it's like 2 words, and then they're like standing at the box, like the entrance to the field, ready to go again, and I'm like, they didn't. There's no conversation. How do they know where they're going?
Yeah.
How do they know what they're shooting?
Like, maybe like a code on the field, it's a code system in the pit.
Yeah,
he doesn't yell stuff from the tower either.
Right. But I mean, like I'm saying is like, you know, he comes to the player and he's like, you know, Alpha Bravo. Green. Yeah, green. And they know, okay, that means I do this on the next point.
Yeah.
Or this is a code for, hey, you should have done this. I don't know. I'm just
I think him and Goran are both really good coaches. Yeah. Goran's really good too from the Cheetah Prince.
Joy Division.
Joy Division. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, I agree.
The rest of the coaches over there are Americans. They're Americans.
Yeah, Skinny Kevin goes over there. Yeah.
Rainy.
Rainy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to mess up his name. The Rangers coach. He's good.
Oh, yeah, the Ranger Warsaw.
Yeah, he's
I know who you're
good.
talking about. He is good. Yep.
Yeah, Spine is really good too from Ron Holt Dynamite. Spine's great. I played with him in 2004. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, maybe Hearts just gave you guys a good new segment. Obviously, couldn't be released till after the event, but miking up the coach.
So do you know I was going to take this year off?
Yep.
So originally when last year, I was going to take last year off, right after I left Diesel. I really wanted to just take a year off.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to do. I was literally going to go to the events, mic up and film a coach each match. Right.
Nice.
And then after the event was over, like cut it up, bring in the coach, bring in their mic'd up game, talk through like the adjustments they made, like how they communicated with their players. And then also like keep some stuff for like personal, like this is bad ways to talk to the players. You don't want to say these things. You don't want to do these things. Right. And use some of it like the next year, if that like team goes away or whatever, like this is what you don't want your pit to look like.
That show would have been huge. That would have gone viral in the paintball.
Yeah. But then these, silly Russians.
Yeah. Well, I think you're in a better place. So
yeah, it's fun.
As a fan,
it's the most fun I've ever had
I
coaching.
thought that would have been cool.
Well, soon we'll have probably AI robots, so you guys can get an employee.
Well, I'm pretty sure we'll be watching AI paintball. So
yeah. Kyle, thank you so much, man. We're so glad we finally got to have you on. We need to have you back.
We do.
And let's we do at least one show in between each event. We just do a clinic, right? Where we talk, we grab a topic or two and do a clinic. You'd be fun as shit to have on for.
Yeah, I would love it. Someone too was like, I wish Kyle talked this much on Spick and
Span show.
But I'm a nerd about this. I'll talk. I told the guys before our first match, I could talk to you guys for 8 hours about how we should play this field and different things you could do for it. So the conversations, if they're not, it's like, how do we make the sport grow? It's like, how many times do we have to have this question every single day for the whole year? Like, hey, let's talk about some other stuff.
I hear
you. Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Let's plan on having him on one of our clinic shows.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. Skinny and I are good too together because we'll make fun of each other, give each other crap.
Skinny just doesn't talk enough.
He always asks, who is your best coach ever? And he's like waiting for me to say him. I'm like, yeah, you're pretty good, but you sat me a lot and you didn't tell me what I was doing wrong till the end of the year. I was like, I needed that at after each event.
Yeah, so I can make those changes
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. But anyway. All right. Well, hey, Kyle, once again, thank you very much. It is 9:00 our time. So
awesome.
Now we're gonna
my alarm's going off and
it's past Ryan's bedtime.
7 hours.
Yeah. It's too fun.
And the gym comes early.
I really enjoyed it.
I got my cold plunge back in. So I was building a house, Kyle. I just moved into it just a few weeks ago.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
And I just got my cold plunge set back up and I've started doing it again.
It's much colder, right?
I fucking hate it. It's so miserable. It's so miserable, dude.
I get when I'm and it's winter time and I go to the cold plunge at my gym maybe once every 3 weeks from going twice a week. I'm like, what? No, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
I do it every morning before the gym, and I'll go into the gym in a hoodie, and it's hot here. It's 75 in the morning, right? It's hot.
Yeah.
People are like, why are you wearing a hoodie? And I'm like, because I'm freezing. Because I just got out of 40-degree water, so it's really, really cold. Yeah, it's miserable again. But I do feel 5 hours. I feel amazing.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Well, thanks again, pal. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to drop you down. You're welcome to hang for a minute if you want.
All good.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors, Max Sportswear, Virtue Paintball, and BKI Paintball. Thank you to Major League Paintball, Major League Paintball Plus, Tom Cole, Kevin Fillers, Darren Cessna, and Amanda Maltz. For Mike Bianca, I'm Ryan Gray. As always, be responsible.